Huyu wanga anasema analinda ground na alindi pande yake, analinda kwingine. Mara anaenda Masaini huko analinda huko na huko hakuji, na hebu angalia venye tuko. Hii sio mara ya kwanza, maji imejaa mara kadhaa na hajawahi kanyaga. Sasa mimi naomba tu huyo mama akipenda watu kama sisi akuje atusaidie sisi. Sisi tutaenda na maji, akiona tu hivi ataona tu tutaenda na maji.
Saturday morning in Grogan area, and the business community witnessed firsthand the effects of Mother Nature's wrath. Vehicles piled on top of each other, others overturned, and others swept away by the raging waters from Nairobi River, which broke its banks. 3 people died in the area as a result of flooding. Inside this green car, people sneaked peeks to see the lifeless body of a man whose decision to seek shelter turned tragic. The vehicle was swept by floods before it got stuck. About 500 meters from here, another body was covered in a sheet. Moments after recovery, the body of the man reported to be a mechanic in Grogan was discovered under one of the cars. Close to the scene lay another lifeless body of a man who was electrocuted while taking shelter.
Fika kitu kama saa 2 magari zilianza kutembea, maji zilianza kubeba magari zikienda nazo. Ilikuwa inaenda tukaanza kuona mabiria zikitoka, mabiria wakitoka wakipanda juu ya magari na watoto na wamama. Ilibidi kama sisi wenyewe tulijaribu juu chini, tukatafuta makamba. Tulianza na ile gari iko pale. Tulitoa wamama walikuwa hapo ndani na kamba, na tulikuwa na kamiti kingine hapo hivyo.
Hii magari mingi ilikuwa hapa, ilikuwa iende kwa sababu sasa ilikuwa inafanywa service kidogo. Leo unaweza kuja na gari yako. Sasa angalia kutoka huku paka huku yote imelaliwa. Pia kuna watu bado wako wamenguzwa, wamekufa.
The speeding waters also swept away one person in Gikomba. At Uhuru Park, the body of a woman was found inside the drainage after she was reportedly washed away. The 5 were among 23 bodies retrieved from Nairobi rivers in Starehe and Kamukunji sub-counties. The Ministry of Interior says 2 people are missing in Kibra after being swept by floods. 1 person died in Kitengela, Kajiado County after his car was washed away by floods.
That 25 deaths have been reported, comprising of 21 male adults, 2 children in Nairobi, and 2 male children in Kitui County.
In Grogan, the deluge did not just cause deaths, but left a trail of destruction. Car owners who had brought their cars for repairs and spare parts sellers are counting losses amounting to millions of shillings. It's a double loss to those who operate underground workshops, where water remains clogged, with efforts dedicated to draining them using special machines.
Shida ni vile hii river imetengenezwa, inatema maji na huko kando. Ikishatema maji yote inatoka kwa ile river inakuja huku. Ikikuja huku ikipata gari hizi ndogo ndogo inabeba. Magari zimeenda mpaka huko, tulifanya kazi ya kuzirudisha mpaka huku. Watu wanaenda hasara, mafundi saa hii hatuna kazi gani itakuja hapa, na wanajua Grogon niku maji ndio iko pale.
Police say 29 people were rescued by officials who were deployed last night to flood-prone areas. The process of identifying those who died is expected to begin next week.
As they mourn and count losses amounting to millions of shillings, business people here in Grogon are calling on the government to put in place proper infrastructure to shield them from such disasters.
If Nairobi County is truly working the way Governor Johnson Sakaja says it is, then tougher questions remain. Why did the city streets turn into rivers last night? Why were residents forced to sleep out in the cold after flood waters pushed them away from their homes? And why are traders counting heavy losses today?
The first images from last night tell the story of a city overwhelmed, a city in ruins. Torrential rains pounding Nairobi quickly turned streets into rivers as flood waters surged through major roads, swallowing vehicles and forcing motorists and passengers to abandon cars in the darkness. Along Uhuru Highway, Langata Road, Jogoo Road and Mombasa Road, traffic ground to a halt as vehicles stalled in the rising waters, leaving some residents stranded through the night as the rains continued to fall.
whole lot of water from that level, from that river. You can see from the good banks of the river up to there. It was definitely water.
And by morning, the devastation left behind by the floods was painfully clear. Here at Grogan area behind Kirinyaga Road and along the banks of the Nairobi River, residents gather around the body of a man retrieved from beneath vehicles that were washed into the street during Friday's floods. Around them, traders move through pools of muddy water, trying to salvage what remains of their businesses.
Sisi wenyewe ndio tunajaribu kuokota debris zetu. Ukiweka kama mimi kiosk zangu kama 4 nimeokota tu mlango 2. Jiko ingine hapo.
Sio mara ya kwanza maji kuwa na mafuriko mahali hapa. Hii ni mara ya 3. Hii ni mara ya 3 kutendeka mahali hapa, inaua watu, inaharibu biashara, inaharibu magari, lakini hatuwaoni serikali wakija kutusaidia.
Also in the city, rescue teams continued working through the aftermath of the floods. Responders from the Kenya Red Cross also retrieved the body of an egg vendor.
Sasa huyo mzee anatuletea mayai, nikaona akibebwa na maji kutoka huko juu na tunamjua. Tukaona amebebwa na maji, sasa kwenye maji ilikuwa mingi, hatukujua imeenda aje. Sasa ndio tunamuona chini ya gari.
But the floods also triggered destruction beyond roads and businesses. Kenya Power confirmed power outages after flood waters affected the South Sea substation, leaving several neighborhoods in the dark. And water supply was also disrupted in areas served by pipelines along Outer Ring Road, Isili, Korogosho, Dandora and Brookside Drive. Technical teams say they are currently working to restore the services.
If Nairobi County is truly working the way Governor Johnson Sakaja says it is, then tougher questions remain. Why did the city streets turn into rivers last night? Why were residents forced to sleep out in the cold after flood waters pushed them away from their homes? And why are traders counting heavy losses today? Ashley Atieno, NTV.
When it rains in Singapore, water flows smoothly into well-planned drainage systems. But when it rains in Nairobi, the city almost instantly transforms into a temporary lake. The downpour, which began on Friday evening, quickly overwhelmed by drainage systems in several neighborhoods across the city, sending water levels rising rapidly in Kenya's capital city. The downpour, which began on Friday evening, quickly overwhelmed drainage systems in several neighborhoods across the city, sending water levels rising rapidly in Kenya's capital, a city widely regarded as county's economic hub. Social media was on the better part of Saturday awash with commentaries attacking Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja over what many termed as failure to fix the drainage and sewer systems, leaving residents counting heavy losses. Others took to X Spaces with a storm of criticism, sarcastically placing Nairobi chief inside floods in a satirical post, dressed in a suit holding a shoe in his hand and smiling as he manages flooding city. Criticism continued to pile up online, with President William Ruto's former advisor Moses Kuria also weighing in, saying, "I have said consistently that you cannot administer Preton where surgery is required. Nairobi requires a new governor." Tonight, the Nairobi naval forces have taken over the flooding city. Anyway, what does a villager like me know about the city? Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna also took a swipe at the Sakaja's leadership, accusing the administration of failure and calling for an urgent overhaul of the Nairobi city's drainage system. Some of the videos shared on social media paint a dire picture near the expressway, Kenya's pride in infrastructure. Yet, beneath the towering highway, residents are seen clinging on each other, struggling to stay safe in the face of disaster, largely blamed on the city's poor drainage system. This is not a new problem. President William Ruto, while signing 80 billion shilling partnership agreement with Governor Sakaja, acknowledged the dire state of Nairobi's drainage system.
Tulikubaliana na watu wa Nairobi, hii Nairobi haiwezi kuwa mji wa takataka. Today, my friends, let's be honest with ourselves. Nairobi River is a sewer, right going through the city. The center of the city is a sewer line.
But in the face of such shocking scenes and recurring disasters brought by heavy rains, the question remains, will there be ever a lasting solution to Nairobi's chronic drainage crisis? For some residents who never made it back home alive, that answer may have come too late.
Usinibo, weku steady ukiwa broke. Sikila pedi kwa na doka, we ni ngombe uskai na goat. Milioni kwanza na box, zile pipe tumedot. Kila mchoro wanza na dot. Naongeza skari mingi, waulize to sky the limit. Ili video nyeshe tiris, niapatiwe degree. Sima nisi chebi, kisema nilishika mili. Ile pressure kubwa ntonada.
Selector Deno.